All right, so frustrating, right? I schedule a show, then I cancel a show, and now I'm here doing a live stream. But first of all, this is not a show. I'm getting on here to kind of just talk, I guess. I feel like I've been fuming with frustration all day, and I don't know what else to do. So this is going to be more of just a live chat type of thing, because I really do appreciate you all, and I hate feeling like I'm letting you all down, especially, scheduling something and then canceling it. Most of the feedback I've got was positive. There were a couple people who were pissed off, and I mean, I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's like, it's not like you bought a concert ticket. I mean, what do you want me to do? Refund your time? I don't know. So this is not going to be a proper show. I've gotten on here just mainly to let you know what's going on. I posted a video earlier, kind of gave you an idea. I really just kind of want to, I mean, if you all have been following me, especially over the last several months, I'm struggling with some stuff, and I'm trying to express my frustrations without going into too much detail, because quite frankly, it's not really your business, with the personal issues I'm going through, and the stuff I've got going on in my personal life, and I don't really want to make it your business. I don't want to be here whining. This is not supposed to be a Nathan's pity party type of thing. But I also don't want to leave you all in the dark, making up your own assumptions of why I'm not playing more music, or why I'm playing sloppy, or why I'm not practicing enough. So that's what this is about. That's why I ended up deciding to get on here and at least talk with you all, keep you updated. What I wanted to do tonight, I guess first and foremost, before I start talking about my own shit, I do want to mention it is Chris Cornell's birthday. Chris Cornell has been and still is a huge inspiration. I still listen to his music all the time. And today was his birthday, so what I wanted to do was play a bunch of his music and just dedicate the whole night to him and paying tribute to him. And I wrote a song for him several years ago that I was going to play as well. But as usual, I plan these things, and then it's like I'm setting myself up for failure, because the things I wanted to do tonight, there wasn't going to be enough time for me to practice all the songs and plan everything. And then on top of that, the dog is what's consuming most of my energy and is the source of most of my stress lately. So, other stuff just gets in the way, and then I'm not able to do what I want to do. And then sometimes I try to do it anyways, but then I end up feeling like I'm kind of half-assing it, and I ultimately just end up disappointing myself and then disappointing you all. So it's just frustrating, I'm just having such a hard time. There's things I have to do, obviously. There's stuff we all have to do in life. And then there's stuff I want to do, and I can't seem to figure out a harmony. I can't figure out how to have the two live in harmony so that I can be content. Because ideally, I'd like to be playing music as much as I can. But there's just always other stuff that takes priority. And again, I'm not going to get into detail about all that. But going back to the subject of Chris Cornell, if you all have stories or memories or stuff you want to share, feel free to let me know. I am not going to play any music tonight, but I will say that Chris Cornell obviously has been a huge inspiration. And I owe a lot of my, I don't know what you'd call it. I owe a lot of myself to him, really. I learned a lot of my own musical stuff by watching him and listening to his music. And then I was fortunate enough to see him in concert. I didn't get to meet him, but I saw him live, which was really cool. The first time I saw him live was at Bogart's in Cincinnati, Ohio, and that was in 2007. It was on his tour for Carry On, but he played all kinds of stuff. The band he was with was amazing as well. And then I saw him in 2009, opening for Linkin Park. I think it was called Project Revolution. And he was only the opening act. So of course he only played for like 40 minutes. And then I saw him with Soundgarden in 2011 at, I think it was Mansfield. It's Massachusetts. I can't remember the name of the town, but I'm pretty sure it was Mansfield, Massachusetts. And that was awesome, because I didn't ever think Soundgarden was ever going to even get back together, but they reunited and I was able to see him live, and it was like a dream come true. And then the last time I saw him was on his tour for Higher Truth, and he played at the Ryman Auditorium. And that was incredible, because it was just him and an acoustic guitar. And man, it's amazing how one guy, one voice with an acoustic guitar can just express so much emotion and just fill up a place like the Ryman Auditorium with so much, I don't know, just raw emotion. It was amazing. And then, of course, I was heartbroken when he passed away. So yeah, I don't know if you all have anything you want to share about Chris Cornell, because that's really what tonight was supposed to be about, paying tribute to him. Maybe I'll play some of the songs another time. I don't know. Honestly, right now I feel like this is probably going to be the last live stream I do in a while, because I feel like I need to figure something out. I haven't figured out how to manage my time. I'm literally going to therapy for this very reason, because I get frustrated and I don't know what to do. So, yeah, this might be the last live stream I do in a while. I might go on another indefinite hiatus, but I can't express enough how much I appreciate those of you who are supportive. There are some trolls, there are some jerks, and in fact, let me read through some of the comments. Let's see, where is it? So I'm going on my YouTube. Then I'm going to go to my channel. And then I'm going to go to where it says community, the post. The post where I said show was canceled, blah, 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 blah. Most of the feedback was supportive. Most of you understood without me having to really explain it. I mean, I think most of you understand. Shit happens. Life happens. But there were a couple people who... let's see, where is it? Couple people, I guess I pissed them off. So this one, his username is welfaregod612. I will read his comment word for word. He says, in all capital letters, "Are you serious? Me and my son love Chris Cornell, and we're looking forward to this since he shares birthdays with him. Extremely disappointed. I have been subbed from the start, but no longer. Don't make promises you can't uphold. And then he calls me an asshole. So, again, I mean, I know I shouldn't have to apologize, but I guess I'm sorry if I upset you and your son. But again, I mean, you didn't pay for a concert ticket. I mean, I don't know how else to make it up to you. And if unsubscribing to my channel, I mean, if you think that is going to hurt me, then joke's on you, because, you know, I've never really been about subs from the beginning. I mean, I care about you as people, but the numbers I don't care about. So if I have one less sub, you know, good riddance. So anyways, that was that. And then somebody else, I guess, misunderstood my post, and I guess he was taking it the wrong way. The fuck is this? There's literally like a fucking worm. I've just been outside cleaning up the yard, so apparently I have a worm on me. That's gross. All right. And then there's another person that I guess took my original post the wrong way, and I guess he thought I was kind of expressing frustration towards you all, which I want to make sure it's known that I am not frustrated with any of you. I am frustrated with myself, and I'm frustrated because I can't do the stuff that I want to do, and that it, like I said, ultimately just kind of, I feel like I'm disappointing you all. So I just want to make sure you know that I'm not trying to be an asshole, and I'm not trying to be a jerk. In fact, I'm trying to do the complete opposite. I would love it if I could have, you know, a regular kind of show and connect with you all and nurture these relationships. I feel like a lot of you have become friends over the years, and I don't want to just alienate you and leave you all in the dark. But at the same time, I don't want to get on here and just half-ass it every time I play a show and say, oh, I didn't have time to practice, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to play the same shit I do every time. Because that, to me, that feels like I'm just kind of not giving it my best. And that's when I get frustrated, like I did today. I kind of blew up, had a moment. I think I probably overreacted. Again, I don't want to go into too much detail, but we took the dog. We just got a puppy. So you know how puppies are. Just, they need constant attention all the time. But last night, especially, we had to bring him to the emergency room because he chewed up one of his toys. It's a rubber toy, and I guess he ingested like half the toy. So we had to take him in so that he could throw it up. And then today, I had my guitar out. I was on the couch playing for probably 15 minutes. And the dog was chewing on something. I thought he was chewing on his toy because the house is littered with chew toys. But I go over and he's chewing on a pair of my underwear and a pair of Amanda's underwear. And I'm like, fuck, man. Like, it looks like he ate sections of it because there's sections of the underwear that are missing. So I guess I overreacted again with nervous energy, thinking, shit, I'm going to have to spend the rest of my day at the emergency room again because now he's ingested underwear. But I brought it to Amanda. I had her look at it, and she seemed to think that it was okay. It didn't look like he ingested enough of it to cause an issue, so hopefully he passes it. But yeah, that just kind of sent me over the edge, and then I was like, well, fuck it. I'm not going to have time to practice for this show. And I have to decide sometimes, do I want to do it anyways and make a fool of myself and just fumble my way through all these songs? Or do I just want to cancel it altogether? And this time I just decided to cancel it, which, again, I know I probably pissed some people off. So maybe it wasn't the right decision, but I don't know. But I figured at least getting on here and talking with some of you, at least I can, I don't know, discuss and talk my way through it. So I already read some of the angry comments, but I do appreciate those of you who are supportive. I don't know if I'm going to read through all of these, but yeah. Thank you for those of you who understand. Like I said, I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory sometimes. Like I shouldn't have to go into detail on what's going on, but I do appreciate those of you who understand. I guess if I was doing this for a living, and I had a whole show or a whole show scheduled, and you guys had all paid for concert tickets and drove out to, listen and everything, I guess I would feel more obligated to follow through with my plans. But as it is, I'm already working full time. This is a hobby at the most. It's a hobby. I'd like it to be more, but right now, I just don't have the time to put into it that I want to. So I kind of have this, like, I know it's, what do you call it? Like I said, I'm going to therapy, so I know there's proper terms for all this, but I have these, I'm trying to remember what it's called. Give me a minute. I'm having a brain fart. Basically, these unrealistic goals, irrational thoughts. I have these irrational thoughts where I kind of have this like all or nothing type of mentality. Like basically, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to play music and I'm going to get on here and do live streams and play shows and upload YouTube videos and do tutorials, if I'm going to do it, then I want to do it right. I want to go all in and I want to do it right and I want to give it my best. Obviously we're all human and I'm going to mess up, but I want to feel like I'm at least giving it my best. And if I can't, then I don't want anything to do with it at all. I want to quit. I want to sell all my equipment. I want to delete all my YouTube videos. And I want to, if I can't sell it, I'll smash it. I'll go out in the garage and I'll just smash my guitar. And I know, like I said, that's irrational. But shit, I get so fucking frustrated sometimes. It's literally like, it's hard for me to think in any type of gray area. Like it's it's black or white. It's like all or none. And so I do realize now in hindsight that I probably overreacted a little bit earlier, but I still wouldn't have had time to plan the show that I wanted to play tonight, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to play, I had all these Audio Slave songs and Soundgarden songs. I wanted to play Burden in My Hand. I even was thinking about playing Seasons, which I don't play very often because it's in a weird tuning. And I wanted to play The Day I Tried to Live, maybe even Slaves and Bulldozers, if I was in the mood to do that. But man, I had all this stuff all these Chris Cornell songs I wanted to play, and it seemed like such a perfect day to do it, just to celebrate him. So I'm still frustrated that it didn't happen, but what can I do? I don't know. I guess maybe I could have done it differently. Maybe I could have played a couple songs, but I really just wanted to play all the songs I wanted to play. So anyway, I'll stop talking for a minute, and I'm going to scroll up and see what you all have to say. So thank you, Evan. Evan is one of my followers that I don't want to piss Evan off, because I respect Evan. I know I don't know a lot of you. A lot of you I can't even put a face to. But Evan supported me for a while on my Patreon, and we did some lessons together. So Evan's a good guy, and I don't want to disappoint any of you, but especially Evan. I really appreciate your support. I appreciate the tip that you sent me. I didn't realize you had even sent me a tip during my last show until after the fact, because I don't think you sent it through YouTube. I think it came through Square, and I don't know how to send messages through Square. But I just wanted to say thank you for the tip. So I guess let's just continue down the list here. So hello, Evan. Somebody named Verify is on here. Tensil, Charlie Mason, I'm sorry. Laura, Skid, T-Dog, Raul. T-Dog says, who was Chris Cornell anyway? Very funny. Crewman Derek says, heck yeah, Bogarts kicks ass. I wonder if Bogarts is even still there. That was one of those cool kind of small little club type places. I was surprised Chris Cornell was even playing there, because I mean, it was just a small little venue. I don't even think there were seats. It was all open floor, general admission type of thing. So yeah, that was definitely a cool place to see Chris Cornell. I remember towards the end of the set, I don't remember what song it was, but he just sat down on the edge of the stage and he just sang, like, I think it was Seasons actually, because it was a couple acoustic songs. Like the rest of the band just kind of disappeared backstage, and he was just sitting on the edge of the stage, just singing his ass off. So yeah, Bogarts is a cool place. T-Dog says, saw him perform an acoustic set in Illinois. It's awesome. Daniel Ramos says his acoustic version of Billie Jean is unmatched, which I agree. You know, honestly, that album, Carry On, isn't my favorite album of his, but there are some songs on there that are great, and that cover of Billie Jean is one of them. Yeah. Giuseppe Montego says Nate reads mean tweets. Maybe I should do that one day. I should just get on here and read all the mean comments, which thankfully there hasn't been a lot lately. I mean, there's been a lot over the years, but lately people seem to be pretty supportive. I think I've kind of weeded out the bad ones. But man, yeah, there's been some pretty harsh comments over the years. And I know I shouldn't take things too seriously, especially if it's just a handful of people, but man, that stuff gets under my skin so easily sometimes. You know, it's like I can have 10 very encouraging, supportive people, and it only takes one comment to just fucking send me, you know, into this downward spiral. But I'm working on it. Like I said, I'm going to therapy, so I'm not fixed. I probably never will be fixed, but I am at least working on it. I'm working on myself. I feel like I'm making progress. Not a lot, but a little bit at a time. I haven't jumped off a cliff yet. I've gotten close, but not yet. All right. Vetsurdia says hello from Russia. Band Stuff says, is Conspiracy or Good Friday in your repertoire? I don't know how to play those, but I love the Black Crowes. Black Crowes, I don't play their stuff often, but they are one of my top 3 favorite bands. So I wish that Conspiracy and Good Friday was in my repertoire, but I haven't learned how to play those. A lot of stuff I don't even attempt because a lot of their stuff is in open tunings, and I don't really mess with open tunings much. And I know Rich Robinson plays a lot of slide guitar too, so I don't know. I feel like if I were to try to play Black Crowes, I don't know if I could really do it justice. But I do love Black Crowes, and I love those songs. Those would be great choices. If I had the skill to pull it off, I would, but I don't know if I can do it. Congratulations, It's a Squid says, wait, I'm so sorry, what happened to the rest of your videos? Well, I didn't delete them, but I put them all, I hid all my videos. Again, that was probably a rash decision, probably overreacted, but for now I'm frustrated, and like I was saying before, I get into this mindset, like if I can't do it right, I don't want to do it at all. So I'm trying to refrain from giving in to my irrational temptations, but I've been so frustrated all day that I just want to take my guitar out into the garage and smash it, and I just want to delete my YouTube account because I'm just so fucking pissed off. But instead of deleting them, I just temporarily took them down for the moment until I can cool off and collect my thoughts and make rational decisions again. So Evan Osborne says, I will pay good money for those undies. I'm assuming you're referring to the undies that the dog chewed up. I mean, I can sell them if you want, but they're not very pretty. I don't even know if they were clean. I don't know if he took them out of the dirty laundry pile or if he took them out of the clean laundry pile. So I don't know, Evan. I don't think you really want those. I will say that it kind of boosts my spirits a little just getting on here and talking to you all. I'm already feeling like I'm calming down a little bit, just kind of talking through this shit. But again, I do apologize that I'm not playing music. I know that's what you all are here for, is the music. And I've been doing a shitty job at doing that lately, so I do apologize for that. But again, I appreciate the connection that I have with a lot of you, and even though I might take a break from the music, I don't necessarily want to take a break from you all. I mean, because I don't want to lose touch with you, and I don't want to lose the connection that we have. Because, like I said, a lot of you, even though I don't know you in person, I feel like I've kind of developed like a friendship with a lot of you, and I don't want to lose that. So even if I'm not playing music, I still at least want to get on here and connect somehow. So let's see. Let's continue down the chat here. Adrian says, take a breath, brother. You are doing great. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't feel like I'm doing great, but I appreciate it. Nick Whittling says acapella. I don't even know if I can do acapella right now. I mean, I haven't practiced guitar, but I also haven't practiced singing either. Actually, I've been yelling and cussing all day, so I don't even know if my voice is in shape to sing right now. Nick Whittling also says, hit enter too quickly. Nate, that video of you when you were younger covering Slaves and Bulldozers is so epic. You are absolutely incredible. Thank you. I wanted to play that one tonight, Slaves and Bulldozers. But maybe another time. I did have a good birthday too. My birthday was Sunday, and I wanted to do a show on my birthday, but I just didn't have time to do everything that I wanted. Most of the day I spent sleeping in, catching up on sleep, and then Amanda took me out to Moe's, and I got a burrito. And then we went to the store, and honestly, all I wanted to do on my birthday was have a burrito, go to the store and look at toys, and get ice cream. And that's what I did. And if I had time to do a show, I was going to get on here and do a live stream. But by the time we got home, it was after 10, and I had to go to work in the morning. So I just said, forget it. But it was a good birthday. Amanda got me ice cream, and she got me a burrito, and she got me a toy monster truck that we found at the store. I feel like a nerd because I like going to the store and looking at toys. I don't buy myself toys. But it is cool just to go look at the toys. And there's something nostalgic about it. Especially, I don't know, it seems like a lot of companies are bringing back old toys, like they're re-releasing stuff. Like, I was a huge Ninja Turtle fan when I was a kid, and I don't play with Ninja Turtles anymore, but I still like, to look at them. And I didn't realize it till recently, but they're re-releasing all these classic Ninja Turtles toys. So like, you go to the toy store and they're all, hanging up on the shelves. I don't know, it's just like, it's like a throwback, like I feel like I'm a little kid again going to the store, because it's all the original package designs and everything. I don't know, it's just comforting to me, I guess, to go look at toys. I feel like a nerd, but that's what I like to do. So it was a good birthday because that's what I did, and I had fun. Okay, let's see. All right, I'm just reading through some of the comments. I can't read them all out loud, but I'm just kind of browsing through. Top Rod says, do you know how to play Your Guardian Angel by Red Jumpsuit? No, I do not. In fact, I don't even know I'm not even familiar with that song, so I'll have to listen to it and see if it's something that I think I can do. Albert C says streaming ... not streaming ... back to streaming, LOL. Yeah, so like I said, I know it's frustrating. I scheduled a show, then I canceled the show, now I'm here doing a show, but this really isn't a show. I wouldn't call this a show. This is more getting on here and talking through some of my frustrations and just trying to give you all some behind the scenes info as to what's going on. Because I know, obviously I've got my own stuff I'm dealing with, but from your perspective, you probably don't know what's going on. So some of you are understanding, but I know some of you probably make up your own ideas of what's going on. There was actually one guy, this was a while back, but he sent me this nasty message And he said he was accusing me of being of a molester, and he said the reason for my absence and the hiatus that I took from YouTube was because I was in jail. And I'm like, dude, like, how do I even respond to that? But again, I mean, I guess that's what people do. I mean, if you don't have any info, you make up your own info and you start making up your own stories. So I'm hoping that this kind of helps you all understand the reasons for my absence sometimes, and the reasons why I cancel shows, and the reasons why I get on here sometimes and I'm fumbling my way through songs that I haven't had a chance to practice. There is a reason for it, and it's not because I'm in jail. It's for other things. It's because I have a job and I'm busy. And today I was cleaning up the fucking yard because apparently we had like a mini tornado, and there's stuff all over the place out there. I mean, sticks, like there was a limb on the side of the house that was heavy enough to be its own tree. I still don't know where it came from, because we have trees, but I couldn't tell like where it broke off from. So that's what I was doing today. Daniel Neighbor House says, saw Soundgarden at Red Rocks, best show of my life. Had goosebumps every time he screamed. Man, that must have been an awesome gig. I mean, that'd be a venue, Red Rocks. I've never been to Red Rocks, but to see any show at Red Rocks, I think would be awesome. But to see Soundgarden at Red Rocks, I bet that was amazing. So congratulations, it's a squid. That's this person's username. Says, I wish I was able to see Chris live. I discovered him from my brother via Audioslave 3 to 4 months before he passed. I really want to go visit his statue in Seattle. Yes, I actually discovered Chris Cornell through Audioslave as well. As much as I'm into the grunge music, I'm a little bit, like, my generation's is a little bit younger. Like, I was still a little too young at the time that music came out to really appreciate it. So it wasn't till I was in high school where I started really developing a taste for music. And then I had no idea who Soundgarden was, or Chris Cornell, or any of those bands. I didn't know who any of those bands were. And then my brother just happened to be watching, it was either MTV or VH1, I don't remember which, but he had the video for Cochise was playing, and I wasn't even watching TV. I went to the kitchen and I was on my way back to my room, and as I was walking past the living room, I just kind of stopped dead in my tracks. I was like, what is this? Like, what band is this? And come to find out, it was a band called Audioslave, and from there, man, I've just been hooked on Chris Cornell ever since. So yeah, Audioslave was my my gateway drug into all this music. Not just Chris Cornell, but all of it pretty much. So like I said, I owe a lot to Chris Cornell. I don't even know if I would have continued playing guitar, or even really developed much of a taste for music if it wasn't for like the fact that I got into that, to Audioslave and Soundgarden and all that. Jeffrey Latham says, saw Soundgarden in Dallas in 2013. It was epic. Had tickets to see him again, but he passed 4 days before the concert. God, that sucks. You know, it really was heartbreaking when he passed. I hate to use the word shocking because a lot of people say they were shocked when Chris Cornell died, and they were shocked at how he died. But I mean, I was heartbroken, but to be honest, I can't say I was surprised, because I mean, if anyone's familiar with his music, I mean, that's what he sang about. He made it a career to sing about depression and suicide, and I mean, it was pretty obvious. I mean, I'm not a doctor and I didn't know him personally, but it was pretty obvious that he was struggling with something. I don't know what exactly, but he obviously was battling some demons. And I'm thankful for the music that he made while he was here. And I wish that he was still here with us. But I can't say I'm surprised or shocked that he took his life. You know, I wish there was something I could have done to help. But you know, sometimes there is nothing you can do. I mean, you know, we've come a long way in you know, being more understanding with, you know, mental health issues and stuff. And you know, I think a lot of people are you know, supportive of it, and you know, we're trying to understand it, but I think we have a long way to go still till we really understand, you know, how this stuff works. I mean, because Chris is a perfect example. I mean, he's this rock star who's got hundreds of thousands of fans all over the world who absolutely love and adore him. And he had a beautiful wife, kids. I mean, he obviously must have been pretty well off financially, considering his success with all the bands and music he made. But still, after all that, you know, he took his life. And like I said, I'm not going to go into, you know, the gritty details about it, because I don't know. You know, like I said, I didn't know him personally. But, you know, there's just a lot of stuff we don't understand still about, you know, not just Chris, but about anybody struggling with mental health issues. You know, we can make assumptions and say, oh, you know, this happened because of this and this, but I mean, we don't know. We just don't know. So it sucks. And I'm sorry, you know, like Jeffrey, wasn't able to see him. But all we can do now is just, you know, remember him. And again, I know I'm getting into some personal stuff here with this live stream, but again, the whole purpose of this in the first place was supposed to be to pay tribute to Chris Cornell. So, I mean, if we want to talk about other stuff, I will, but I kind of want to stay on point here and make sure that we remember Chris and his music. Evan Osborne says, have you ever considered heroin? It worked for Chris. God, Evan, come on, man. Your dark sense of humor. I get it, man. I have a dark sense of humor too. But you got to be careful on here. You might offend somebody. I don't know if Chris ever did heroin, though. I mean, I know Lane Staley, heroin was his downfall, but I don't know if Chris ever did heroin. Gina Henderson says, what do you think Chris Cornell's song is? Thinking It's Seasons. Yeah, I think it's hard to pick a favorite. Seasons is definitely one of my favorites. But I don't even know if I can begin to name a favorite. I can't even decide if I like Soundgarden or Audioslave better. I always go back and forth. I will say that there are very few songs of his that I don't like. Even that album Scream that he did, a lot of people hate that album because, that's the one he did with Timbaland, and it was like a pop album. But even that, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of synthesized music, but I mean, if you strip it down, I mean, it's still Chris Cornell. I mean, it's still his voice and his lyrics and his melodies. So even that album, I like that too. It's not one of my favorites, but there's not a lot of stuff of his that I don't like. Top Rod says, I hope you can play Drain You someday by Nirvana. That's the best Nirvana song and easy to play. You will kick ass in those screams. That's another one. I don't know if I've ever even heard that song. Nirvana is a band that, it's funny. The first time I heard Nirvana was in 5th grade, and one of my friends took me to, I was over at his house, and he cranked up Smells Like Teen Spirit. And man, I was so impressed. I was like, this rocks. Of course, I was in 5th grade, so I didn't even know I liked music. But I remember that song I thought was awesome. And then that year, in the yearbook, everyone has to list their favorite color and, favorite animal. And one of the questions was favorite band. And almost all the boys in my 5th grade class put Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana, because I think that's, for some reason, we were exposed to it and we had all heard it. But I remember my parents getting pissed because Kurt Cobain killed himself. And I remember my mom specifically getting mad that I put that in the yearbook as my favorite song, because I guess she didn't want people to think that, I don't know. I don't know why she was pissed. I think she was pissed because she didn't think Nirvana or Kurt Cobain was a good influence. So I never really got into Nirvana. I mean, I'm 37 now. I can listen to whatever I want. But I don't know. I guess I never really explored Nirvana much because I don't know. I was taught early on that it was bad. So yeah, Drain You is a song that I'm not even familiar with. I don't even think I've ever heard it. But I'll check it out. Raul says, your live concerts have been helping me go through rough times lately. I've been playing them every day. I wish you considered that sometime and bring them back into the channel. Thank you, Raul. I appreciate that. Like I said, a lot of the videos that I deleted are just temporarily unavailable. I'll probably end up going back and making them visible again once I cool off and can think rationally again. But I've also been frustrated with the live streams specifically because I've been having a hard time with audio. I started these live shows, I think, a year and a half? Has it been 2 years already? I don't know, but this audio thing has been such a frustrating work in progress. I mean, I didn't think it would be this difficult just to try to get clean audio, especially with the simple setup I have. I mean, I've just got a acoustic guitar and vocals, and that's it. But man, it's just been frustrating trying to get audio. So I think I finally figured out a good mix. So I guess to address Raul, he said that he wishes I would consider making those live streams available again. I think one of the reasons I took them down is because I was just disappointed in the crappy audio quality. And now that I finally figured out how to get decent audio, I don't want to look back on all those old shitty audio streams. But I'll consider it, Raul. I'll consider putting them back up there for people to watch. Daniel says, remember that time Mike McCready posted your Even Flow cover? No, I do not remember that. In fact, if I had known that, I would be ecstatic. But I didn't know. And actually, speaking of that, if that's true, if Mike McCready posted my Even Flow cover, that would be awesome. But the only times I've been acknowledged by famous musicians is Kevin, what the hell's his name? The singer from Candlebox. I'm just having brain farts tonight. The hell is his name? Somebody help me. Who's the singer for Candlebox? There's a little bit of a delay here in the video, so I have to wait for somebody to comment. Anyway, the singer for Candlebox commented on one of my Instagram videos, which was awesome. And then the Toadies, Kevin Martin, thank you, Jeremy Brunk, and Evan Osborne. Actually, Evan got his comment in first, but thank you. I was completely drawn a blank. Kevin Martin reached out to me, and I think he sent me a couple like hand clapping emojis. And then the Toadies commented on one of the Toadies covers I posted on Instagram. But other than that, as far as I'm aware, nobody else that is famous has ever reached out to me and acknowledged my videos, which I don't expect that. I mean, I'm not great by any means. So I don't expect any of these famous musicians to react to my videos. But if I'm being honest, I would have liked to have been involved in some of those Chris Cornell tributes, especially like shortly after Chris Cornell passed. There's like social media was just flooded with covers and tributes, which is expected, but I don't know. I kind of felt a little left out because, they had that big Chris Cornell tribute show, which the one that was nationally televised was more for like famous artists like Chris Stapleton and the Melvins. I mean, there were a bunch of famous acts. So, I mean, obviously I didn't expect to be involved with that, but there was another tribute show that was hosted by this Facebook group that I was a member of. And that was more like a smaller, like hometown type of tribute thing. And they had invited all these like independent artists to perform and stuff. And I'm like, again, I don't expect it, but I was kind of like, man, here I am. I've been playing Chris Cornell covers for like the last 10 years on YouTube. I was kind of hoping somebody would reach out to me and invite me to participate in one of those tribute shows, but I don't know. I don't think I'm, I guess I'm not famous enough for that. I'm not skilled enough for that type of thing. But anyway, Skid says, I was able to be at the Chris Cornell tribute concert. That's awesome. That must have been quite a show. Do you have anything to share from it? Did you like it? Was it moving? I'm sure it was probably pretty emotional. I can't remember who all performed at that. Of course, I didn't see it live, but I watched it after the fact. I watched a recording of it. I mean, there were some pretty good tributes. I mean, even Miley Cyrus. I'm not a huge fan of her music, but the song that she sang, I mean, I thought that was pretty nice. There were some that I wasn't really impressed with, but I don't think it was really about impressing anyways. It was more about, people grieving and paying respect to the music. So I bet that was an awesome show to see. Jeremy Brunk says, are you doing music? So no, I'm not doing music tonight. I mentioned at the start of this video that I was planning on doing music tonight, but some stuff happened today, and I'm not going to explain it all again. But no, I'm not doing music tonight. But I wanted to at least get on here and connect with some of you, and hopefully keep a good rapport between us. I don't want you all to think that I'm just kind of blowing you all off and just canceling a show and disappearing. Because even though I might not play music on here, I still want to keep the friendships that I've developed with some of you. Nick Whittling says, I saw Chris play with Soundgarden May 3rd, 2017 in Atlanta. I'd seen him twice during 2 separate acoustic tours. He started playing Sun Shower. My wife, I was crying. I didn't think I'd ever see him. Yeah, man. Sun Shower is another one of my favorites. That's another one I wanted to play tonight. But, there's something about his music, too, that I love it. And I love listening to it. And I love singing it. I love playing it. But, God, it's so complicated. And I think part of it is just because I'm a simple-minded person. And I'm not as skilled as you all tell me I am. Because there's a lot of Chris Cornell songs that I just have such a hard time playing. Part of it, I think, is the tuning. He plays Soundgarden specifically. They've got all these weird tunings that they play in. But another part of it's like the chord changes. Like Sun Shower, you have your standard guitar chords, D, A, C, G, E. But Sun Shower, it's got all these weird, like minor chords and major chords and sevens, and you got to do this and this and this and this. I'm like, I just can't remember all that shit. Like, if I'm going to play Sun Shower, like if I'm doing a live stream and I know I'm going to want to play Sun Shower, I have to make sure that I rehearse it well in advance. And that's what I was supposed to do today. I was going to rehearse all these songs so that I could play them tonight. But I didn't have time to prepare. And if I tried to get on here and play these songs, it would have been a disaster because I haven't practiced them. Jason Gibson says, Like a Stone is the most beautifully written song lyrically. Yes, I agree. That is a beautiful song. That whole album is amazing. The self-titled Audio Slave album. Rhett says, my favorite is When I'm Down. That's another one. Another one I wanted to play tonight. I've played that before in the past, but that's another one that it's got all these weird chords in it. And I guess it's probably not weird chords to an advanced guitar player, but like I said, I'm used to like my D chord, my A, my G, when it gets into all those, different fingerings and all that stuff, like I don't know. It's complicated. Jeremy Brunk says, "Are you okay?" I don't know. I don't know how to answer that, honestly. Right now, I'm feeling a lot better than I was earlier. Earlier today, I had like a meltdown. Like I just lost it because, I think a lot of it was I was just trying to bite off more than I could chew. I was trying to plan this big show, and I've been working the last few days, and then I'm working overtime tomorrow. And then so today, every minute was like I had to make sure I was productive and doing something to prepare for the show. But there's just stuff was getting in the way, and I lost it. So if you asked me earlier today if I was okay, I would have said no. Like, I'm losing it. I need fucking help. Right now, I feel like I'm calming down a little bit. So I think I'm okay right now at the moment. But like I'm going to therapy and I'm working on stuff. I'm working on mental health. Also working on trying to figure out a better way to be more productive with my time management. So, I mean, to answer your question, are you okay? I'm okay. I'm not terrible. I'm not great, but I am okay. So Evan Osborne said, "I Know Your Name is a fucking banger and so well written, especially with all the mentions from his songs." So thanks, Evan. That's another one I was going to play tonight. That's a song that I wrote as a tribute to Chris. And the reason I wrote it was because after he died, of course, everyone was paying tribute. And a lot of people were playing cover songs, which, there's nothing wrong with playing cover songs. But I had already spent the last several years playing cover songs. So, like, for me to just play another cover song as a tribute to him, it just didn't feel like enough. Like, I felt like I had to do something more. So I thought, well, why not just write an original song for Chris? And then I thought, well, how am I going to write something for Chris when, there's no way I can match his music. His lyric especially. How can I do something lyrically that would be on the same level as his? So then I thought, well, instead of, writing original lyrics, why don't I just take his lyrics and just kind of reword them? Because a lot of his lyrics, I feel like he wrote a lot of music for us, like for us as the listeners. So why not just turn it around and, write, use his lyrics, for him. So I can't even say like that I can take full credit for that song, because a lot of the lyrics, the whole song is full of lyrical references to his music. But that's the whole point of the song, really. It's a tribute to him. I want people to think of him when they listen to the song. But it was also just kind of a way for me to process my own emotions and my own thoughts, and it's kind of my own grieving process. Eventually, I want to re-record that song because I have recorded it. I recorded a demo, and then I recorded another demo, and then eventually another band picked it up, and they recorded their own version of it. But I've always been wanting to re-record it because I rewrote some of the lyrics. And I always had an idea in my mind of what I wanted the song to sound like. And I just haven't, like the couple demos that I did weren't quite there. So eventually I'd like to re-record that and make it available. Let's see. So Logan says, I thought you weren't streaming tonight. I'm pleasantly surprised. Well, Logan, I mentioned earlier, I did schedule a show and then I canceled it. And then I decided to get on here. But this technically isn't really a show. I just got on here to kind of fill you in on what's going on. So I apologize if you came here hoping to hear music. I'm sorry if I disappointed you. But I'm on here because I'm trying to stay on good terms with you all. I don't want to piss anybody off or disappoint anybody. Evan Osborne says, Taylor Momsen's tribute of Like a Stone is so good. Yes, I forgot about her, that she did something at the live tribute show. I forgot she did Like a Stone. She also recorded a cover of Loud Love, which I don't know if she played that at the tribute show, but I think like she officially recorded a cover of Loud Love with her band. And that's pretty awesome too. I think she was a pretty big fan of Chris. But yeah, if you all have a chance, check out that cover of Loud Love by Taylor Momsen. I don't know if it's under her name or if it's under her band's name, The Pretty Reckless. But I'm sure you can find it on iTunes or Spotify or even YouTube. But I also, speaking of that, I wanted to mention there's this other thing that came out recently. It was just released last week. And it's this Soundgarden tribute. I'm trying to find a picture of it here on my phone so I can show you. Whoops, that's not right. So I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but it's this Soundgarden. Sorry. It's a Soundgarden album, and it's all these different bands that cover Soundgarden. So they did one, it's called The Best of Soundgarden. And then they did another one called Super Unknown. And this is the whole Super Unknown album. But every song is a different band doing their own cover. And it's pretty awesome. Like, I usually don't like stuff like this, because I've seen other stuff like this. There's a Zeppelin one, a Jimi Hendrix one. They even did one for Alice in Chains. And it's like hit or miss. Like, usually I'd rather just listen to Soundgarden. But this is actually pretty cool. I've been listening to this for like the last 2 days, and a lot of it is like stoner rock, like doom metal, I guess you'd call it. So a lot of these songs are kind of like slowed down, played in like down tunings. So if you don't like that stuff, you probably won't like it, but I'm already a fan of that kind of stuff anyways. And the fact that they're playing like Soundgarden songs in that style it's pretty awesome. I mean, obviously I'd still rather listen to Chris Cornell sing the originals, but this is worth checking out if you're into this type of thing. I mean, again, this is iTunes, but I'm sure you can probably find this on Spotify and Bandcamp. But it's called Super Unknown Redux. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. So that's pretty cool. That's a cool tribute to Soundgarden and Chris Cornell. Somebody, Drew79, says, are you not a fan of classic rock? Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd? I actually am a huge fan of classic rock. That's what I grew up listening to. Because when I was younger, the only exposure I had to music was my mom's and my stepdad's CD collection, which mostly consisted of 60s and 70s and 80s rock. And then the radio stations, I'm from Keene, New Hampshire, which is a pretty small town. And our options for radio stations were classic rock, oldies and like the Billboard Top 100. And so I grew up listening to Led Zeppelin is actually my favorite band. Like my favorite band always has been, always will be. Led Zeppelin is my absolute favorite. And Robert Plant is my favorite musician. So I guess to answer your question, Drew 79, I'm totally into classic rock. I love Led Zeppelin. I love another one of my favorites is the Guess Who. What's his name? Burton Cummings was the singer for the Guess Who. That's another one of my favorite vocalists. Who else? I mean, I like a lot of, AC/DC, Lynyrd Skynyrd. So yeah, I definitely like classic rock. I like oldies too. I love Elvis, Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis. My stepdad actually had this collection of CDs that he ordered on one of those TV infomercials. I think it was called Time Life Music. And he ordered a set of these CDs, and each CD was a different year. And he had like 1950 through 1960. And so like the CD for 1950 had every song from 1950. And then 1951, 1952. So I remember sitting in my room listening to those like nonstop. So it's always weird when I tell people, even though I didn't grow up in the 50s, technically I grew up listening to 50s music. And then I didn't get into grunge music until I was in college. I wasn't even exposed to the music until, like I said, I discovered Audioslave while I was in high school. And then that kind of got me into Soundgarden. But then it wasn't until I got to college and they had a radio station that played a lot of that 90s rock. And that's when I started being introduced to like Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains, all that good stuff. Gina Henderson asks, did your uncle win the photo contest? That's a good question. I don't know. I was pushing it pretty hard, trying to get him as much support as I could for a while. And then it seemed like every time his votes went up, because he was in second place for a while, but every time he got votes, the first place got votes. And like he wasn't closing the gap. It was almost, I can't say for certain, but it was almost like it was rigged. Because every time, like he would, like you guys, I appreciate your votes because you guys really pushed him up a lot. Like he was pretty tight with third place for a while, but you guys sent him over the edge, gave him a good lead over third place. But last time I checked, he wasn't close to catching up to first place. So I don't know how it turned out. And honestly, I don't even know how they do the voting because I know that our counts obviously must have counted for something, or our votes must have counted for something, but the contest said that it was ultimately going to be judged by a panel of judges based off of strict criteria. So I don't know. I'll have to follow up with him and see what the status is on that. Congratulations, it's a squid, says, I think Sun Shower is my favorite Chris Cornell song. That's still one of those songs I listen to wherever or whenever I'm going through something. Yeah, Sun Shower is a great song. That's another song. There's kind of a story behind that. So it's weird because it's only been within the last, 10 years or so. I mean, not even 10 years. I would say 5 years where like music has just become so readily available through all these streaming apps, Spotify, iTunes Music. It's like you can just get anything anywhere and find anything. But it wasn't that long ago. I can still remember when like if I wanted to find something, I had to like hunt it down. Like I had to go find it. Like I had to go to a store and find it on a CD or something. And I remember Sun Shower was always one of those songs. I had heard a clip of it on YouTube, and that's how I discovered it. But then I wanted to get it on CD so I could listen to it, and I couldn't find it anywhere. Like it wasn't on anything. The only thing it was on was the Great Expectations soundtrack. And if I wanted to buy that, I had to like order it online. And this is back before I was even comfortable using a credit card on the internet. So yeah, I mean, obviously now you can go on iTunes and listen to that, but for a while it seemed like that song Sun Shower was hard to come by. Skid says Dave Grohl sang Show Me How to Live with Audioslave. And Brandi Carlile and Chris Stapleton sang Hunger Strike. And Alice in Chains sang Hunted Down. Oh, I forgot about Hunted Down. I do remember seeing a clip of that. That's one that I was very impressed with. Like, of course, I'm a big Alice in Chains fan already anyways, but I mean, like Hunted Down, I always thought was it's kind of like a deep cut. Like most people, if they're going to do a cover of Soundgarden or Chris Cornell, it's one that probably you wouldn't think that would be picked. But Alice in Chains did a cover of that, and I was so impressed because like I never even pictured them playing that song, but they nailed it. Like I could almost see them doing that song like as their own. Like it's almost like that song was meant to be performed by them. Like they nailed that song. Char0015 says practice and more practice. Yep, I feel you. I mean, I'd swear a lot of this stuff I play is stuff I've been playing for years. And I don't know if I'd be playing it if it hadn't been for the fact that I had picked up guitar a long time ago. Because if I were to try to learn guitar right now, I don't know if I could do it. Because it is all about practice. And of course, the older you get, the more responsibilities you have. And I don't know if I'd have the time to learn guitar right now. I just don't have time to practice. There's like a hair hanging in my face. Evan Osborne, man, you got to stop swearing in your comments. You keep getting flagged. Evan Osborne says, fucking rigged. What a scam. Well, I agree with you. But it says this message is held for review. I guess because you used the F word. Gina Henderson says, yes, it was a good otter pick. Yes, it is. And, you know, I really hope that my Uncle Scott gets at least some recognition for this contest. And even if he doesn't win first place, I hope he gets something because he is extremely talented. And I guess it kind of runs in the family because he has a very self-destructive kind of attitude towards it. I mean, he's super talented at what he does. He goes out. He'll spend a whole day out in the wild. Somehow he finds all this wildlife to take pictures of. I mean, he finds owls, otters, turtles, snakes, birds, eagles. I mean, you know, he devotes all this time and energy, and he does a great job at it, but he doesn't have any recognition for it. And he gets discouraged, which is understandable. And then he kind of goes off the grid, and I don't think he thinks he's as good as he thinks he is, but he's an amazing photographer. And if I can do anything to get him support, then I will. So I appreciate all of you who voted for his photo. Like I said, I don't know if he's going to win or not, But I appreciate the support. Gina Henderson says, I've been to Keene. Wow. I'm impressed that you even know what Keene is. Usually when I say I'm from, I don't even bother telling people where I'm from. I don't even bother telling people where I'm from New Hampshire, because there's a lot of people that don't even know what New Hampshire is. But if you are wondering, New Hampshire is a state, and it's up in New England. It's just south of Maine, right on the northeastern side of the United States. And Keene is a very small town in New Hampshire, and that's where I was born. So I'm surprised, Gina, that you even know what Keene is and that you've even been there. I'm curious to know what you were there for. Was it for business or holiday? I do know that New Hampshire is pretty popular in the fall, because when the leaves change, it's all colorful, and a lot of people go there to look at the leaves and the colors and all that. So it does have its perks. It is a small town, but it does have its perks. Congratulations, it's a squid. Says, no joke, William Duvall is one of the only musicians that I think could vocally match late Chris. His acoustic solo album and his cover of Rusty Cage convinced me. I don't think I've ever heard his solo album. I'm going to have to check that out. And honestly, I don't know that he did a cover of Rusty Cage either. See, I learn things from you all. I'm going to have to check that out as well. Helder SMP says, do you play / used to play every day? Yeah, I would say, if not every day, I would try to play at least every other day. But it was a lot simpler back, when I was in high school. I started playing guitar in 8th grade, and it was just easier to find the time to practice. But now that I've gotten older, there's just always something else, and I'm trying harder to make a point to play every day, but there's still times when a week will go by, 2 weeks will go by, and I'm like, shit, I haven't practiced. And not only is it harder to find time to practice when you get older, but it's also, I've noticed, it takes a greater toll on you when you're older as well. And I don't know if that's just with me, but I've noticed personally that, if like 10 years ago, if I went a week without singing, it wasn't a big deal. Like I could just, pick it up again pretty easily. But I feel like now that I'm older, if I don't stay in practice and I go a week without singing, or 2 weeks or a month without singing, it's just that much harder to get back into it, because I'm older and I don't have like my recovery time is not as great anymore, and I don't know what you call it, but like the time in between, the downtime, it takes its toll more than it used to. It's like going to the gym. Like, I don't work out at the gym, but I mean, if you do, you know that you got to do it every day, or you're going to be sore. And if you go a month without working out, you're going to feel it when you try to pick it up again. So that's why, like, I've been trying to play more often, even if it's not for the live stream, even if it's just for myself to stay in shape. But man, it's frustrating sometimes, especially with the dog now. He's consuming like all my energy and time is going to that dog. And I love him. I love that puppy, but I'd be lying if I said he didn't stress me out sometimes. So Giuseppe says New Hampshire is popular with POTUS candidates. I'm not sure what that means. Must Obey the Rules says Chris was much more than just a vocalist. He was a master songwriter / composer. That's what separates him from other grunge vocalists. And I totally agree. Because Chris Cornell, obviously, he's known for his voice, his range, he can sing high. But a lot of people can do that. I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from Chris, but a lot of people have a similar vocal range that Chris did. A lot of people even have a similar vocal style, like a similar voice. But what separated Chris from the rest was that not only did he know how to sing, but he knew how to write music. He knew how to write lyrics. He knew how to write melodies. It's easy for us. I mean, it's easy for me to sit here and cover his music and say, I can do that too. Or I can pretend to do that too. But I don't think I could truly do what Chris did. I mean, it's easy for me to take a song that he already wrote and play it and try to sound like him. But, he created that music from scratch. He wrote it. And he, not only did he write the music, but he wrote the melodies. And, not a lot of people can fill those shoes. Morgan Parker says, will you be putting your videos back up on YouTube? Everything is deleted. Yeah, so I kind of addressed this earlier, but I didn't delete my videos. I put them all temporarily hidden just because I was overreacting earlier today. I was super stressed. I was kind of having a mental breakdown, basically. And when I have these breakdowns, it's like a lot of my frustration is directed inward. So, I beat myself up and I get on this one track downward spiral of self-destruction. And I wanted to smash my guitar and delete my YouTube account, but instead I temporarily just kind of put everything on hold. So probably, yes, I will put them back up eventually, but today was just a bad day for me, and fuck, I was so pissed off, man. That's part of the reason I'm doing this right now too. It's just, I wanted to play music, but at the least, if not music, I at least wanted to get on here and talk through some of my frustrations. I didn't even expect anybody to show up tonight, so I appreciate that you all are here hanging out with me. And thank you, Brittany Lorio, for the tip. Brittany says, I consider you to be a friend, and I appreciate that you're putting in time and effort to maintain your channel and fans. I hope things start falling in line for you. Have faith, or some Hallmark shit like that. Thank you, Brittany. I really appreciate it. Brittany is another loyal follower and supporter who I consider a friend. Brittany got me this Rocktopus pick holder. She's supported me financially through all these tips. She's supported me through all her encouraging comments. Last year for my birthday, she even bought me several presents, and I can't express enough how thankful I am for Brittany, and like I said, for Evan, and a lot of, everybody that's on here tonight, I appreciate. Sacknuts99, I hope you had a nice birthday, and I appreciate you. That's another one. A lot of these names, even though I can't put a face to a lot of them, I see a lot of you on here regularly, and so I know that I know you're there. I wish I could see you in person, because I'm very much a hands-on type of person anyways. So it's been very hard for me trying to accept, the connection I have with you, but even though I can't see you, I know you're there and I appreciate it. There was something I was just going to say and I forgot. So that's why I'm kind of looking off into thin air, thinking it's going to come to me. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. Completely gone. I'll remember it tonight at 2 a.m. when I'm trying to sleep. Ian says talking is good, Nate. Yeah, I will admit, I'm kind of bummed that I'm not playing music tonight, but it is nice for a change just to get on here and focus on, connecting with some of you. Because I'm not really good at multitasking, and there are times when I try to play shows and follow the feed, and it's just difficult. Fethdar says, I'm new at guitar, but I'm 40 years old. My trick is to make sure I play directly following dinner every day, even if 15 minutes. I fight depression a lot too, but playing helps. That's encouraging to hear. I'm glad you're playing guitar. I know some people at work too that are picking up guitar. There's one guy specifically that he's trying to learn guitar and he's frustrated because he's older and he's got arthritis in his hand. But I keep telling him, you just got to practice. Practice is key. Like, I know it sounds cliche, but practice is everything. I mean, even if, like you said, for 15 minutes, even if you can just do it for 15 minutes, that's at least something. And because a lot of it is muscle memory, like it's really hard in the beginning, especially when you're trying to play and sing, or even if you're just playing, it's hard to remember all the chords and where your fingers are supposed to go. But if you do it enough and you practice and you practice and you practice, it eventually starts to become what they call muscle memory. And that's when it starts to become fun, because then your body is just kind of doing what you've been training it to do. And so you don't even have to really even think about it anymore. You get to a point where you're like, your hand already knows what it's supposed to do from muscle memory. But again, it still takes practice, because even after you develop that muscle memory, if you don't practice, it can go away. It's not like riding a bike. I mean, it is kind of, but guitar isn't something that you can put down for a couple months and then just pick it up and, be awesome again. I mean, you just got to keep practicing. So that's another thing, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing with this YouTube channel. I have all these ideas, and then I seem to have my best ideas when I'm at work, and then I work these 12-hour shifts, and then by the time I come home from work and have a day off, it's like I'm just too exhausted to follow through with any of it. So I get all these ideas, and I have good intentions of stuff I want to do with this channel, and I've even been thinking of trying to kind of restart my Patreon page, but honestly, I just don't know. I like playing cover songs because I like it, and I'm glad that you all like it too, but I feel like I also should be doing something more. Like, I want to be doing something like productive. There's been several people who have asked about tutorials, like how, can you give me tips on how to sing, or can you give me tips on how to play guitar, or can you teach me how to play a specific song? And so I feel like I kind of need to start thinking about like moving my channel in that direction, like doing more tutorials or focusing it more on singing and that kind of thing. But honestly, I don't know. And then of course, like, days like today happen, and I'd like to do more with this channel, and I'd like to like do more for you all. Like, I want you guys to be getting something out of it too, because I know it's great that we all like this music, but I feel like if some of you are wanting to learn guitar or sing, and there's a way that I can help, I'd like to be able to help. But then, like I said, days like today happen, and it's like, I don't know if I'm going to have the time for it. Like, I can plan stuff. I don't know if I'm going to have time to follow through with any of it. I still got to keep my day job, you know? And the puppy, who's surprisingly being very calm right now. He's just hanging out, he's chilling out. I'm keeping an eye on him. But God, he can be stressful. He's got so much energy. Johnny Melancholy says, good evening, brother. I miss Chris and Chester. Oh, Chester, yes. Can't forget about Chester. Chester, God, it's so heartbreaking, because Chris Cornell, today would be Chris's birthday, but today also marks the day that Chester Bennington took his life. So it's a very sad day. Jimmy Erickson says, just saw your video saying you weren't going to stream. So glad to see you here tonight. So yeah, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but yeah, in the beginning of the video, I mentioned that I was going to do a show tonight, and then I canceled it because I didn't have time to prepare, and then I decided to get on anyways. And this is not what I would call a proper show. I'm not even playing music, but I wanted to at least get on here and kind of explain what's going on, why I've been frustrated lately. But also, I did want to pay tribute to Chris Cornell. My original plan was to play a bunch of his music, but I at least wanted to get on here and pay tribute to him in some way. So if you have any stories or memories, thoughts, any concerts you've seen, any songs specifically that speak to you from Chris Cornell that you'd like to share. You know, Chris has just been a huge inspiration to me in my music. And I thought, today being his birthday, I thought, you know, it'd be nice to just kind of pay tribute to him. So, yeah, if you want to, like I said, if you all have stuff to add, you know, comments, memories, stuff like that, anything to share. Some of the songs I was going to play tonight, a bunch of Audio Slave, Soundgarden. There's a few Soundgarden songs I haven't been playing very often on my live streams, and I kind of wanted to revisit those. Burden in My Hand, I was going to try to do that, and The Day I Tried to Live, and then Slaves and Bulldozers. I was even going to try to play Seasons, but I just didn't have time to practice, so I apologize. I apologize if I let anyone down. I know most of you have been understanding, which I appreciate. There were a couple people who I guess were pretty pissed off that I canceled the show, which I know it's frustrating. I know it's frustrating when I schedule the shows last minute, and it's even more frustrating when I cancel the shows last minute. But I've got stuff going on here too, and I can't always follow through as much as I'd like to. One of the comments that somebody sent me was he called me an asshole, and he told me not to make promises that I can't fulfill. which, I agree. A promise is a promise. And if I schedule a show, I'd like to do my best to follow through with that and play the show. But life happens, stuff happens, and Evan says, not gonna lie, that thumbnail is clickbait. I wasn't even thinking about the thumbnail, Evan. I upload the same thumbnail every video. I wasn't even thinking about the fact that I had a guitar in my hand. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll make it up to you. I'll go get my guitar and I'll hold it in my hand so that I can at least say that I was true to the thumbnail. So, bonus feature, I got not just one guitar, but two. So this is my regular guitar. This is my Martin, which, as usual, is out of tune. So this is what I play most of my stuff in, is standard tuning, or I'll go to drop D tuning, and then if I want to play other stuff, I'll have to go into flats. But this guitar, I dusted off. So it's weird because for a long time I've only had one guitar. And I kind of put my feelers out there thinking about getting another guitar because I play songs that are in different tunings, and it'd be nice to just have a guitar that's already in that tuning so I could play it. So I've been wanting to get another guitar. So all of a sudden, I went from having one guitar to having 4 acoustic guitars. But what's funny is that 2 of the guitars that I got were in my dad's basement for like the past 10 years. And one of them is warped beyond playability. I have to either take it to I have to either get rid of it or take it to somebody to fix it. I'm keeping it more for sentimental value because it was my first guitar. But that one I can't play. And then the one that my father-in-law let me borrow, I appreciate him letting me borrow it, but I can't get it to stay in tune for the life of me. I mean, I think it's a very, it's a cheap guitar, but I cannot get it to stay in tune at all. And then this one was my sister's guitar, which was also at my dad's for a long time. But this one, of all the guitars I have, this is the one that I think I can actually play. So this one I actually got out this morning and I put strings on it, and it's in drop C tuning. Or it was in drop C tuning. Which, for those of you who don't know, this is what Burden in My Hand is tuned to. And this is why I don't ever play Burden in My Hand during the live streams, is because if I want to play it, I have to tune to drop C. And it's frustrating to have to tune my guitar. I don't mind tuning it to like drop D, stuff like that. But if I have to like tune every string to a, sorry, have I been saying drop C? I meant to say open C. This is open C tuning. So I was going to play Burden in My Hand tonight. Of course, this is terrible because I just put strings on it. That's bad. That's really bad. I'm sorry. But that's what happens when I put new strings on. It takes a while for them to kind of settle. But that's a perfect example of why I'm not playing music tonight, because I just did not have time to prepare. Didn't have time to prepare the songs, didn't have time to prepare the strings or the guitars. And it would have been a train wreck of a show, and I would have been pissed at myself. So it would have been ugly. So there you go, Evan. Can't say the thumbnail was clickbait anymore. So Raul asks, what exactly is the tuning on Seasons? So that's the tuning on Seasons. So Must Obey the Rules is correct. Must Obey the Rules says the studio recording tuning was FFCCCF, which I believe is open F tuning. And you can play it that way. But the way I play Seasons is I tune it to open D, and then I put a capo on the 3rd fret so that it's still in the same key. I'm just technically not playing it in the way that Chris plays it. And the only reason I do that is because open F, that open F tuning that the song's originally in, is such a drastic change. Like the last time I tried to tune to open F, I broke a string because it was just so far from its usual position. And so I said, forget it. I'm just going to tune to open D. And there's a great tutorial on YouTube. His name's Rick Beato. That's R-I-C-K. Beato is B-E-A-T-O. And that's how I learned to play the song, was I went and watched his tutorial, because he'll teach you how to tune it to open D, and then you put the capo on the 3rd fret so that you're in the right key. And then he does a whole tutorial on how to play the song. So go check that out if you want to learn to play Seasons. Go check out Rick Beato. Yeah, I'm sorry. I guess I said drop C tuning earlier. I meant to say open C. I haven't eaten yet either today, which is probably the source of a lot of my anger. for today anyways. I had a breadstick early this morning with some milk, but I haven't eaten. So I'm going to go eat, I guess, lunch. At this point, it would be dinner. I didn't even plan on being on here this long. I didn't think anybody was going to tune in tonight, but if anybody wanted to, I at least wanted to open up a line of communication so that you didn't think I was just shutting you all out. So, again, I thank you all for being understanding. I apologize because I've been super frustrated lately. Today was especially difficult. I had like a nervous breakdown. But I appreciate that most of you have been understanding. And like I said earlier, I appreciate the connections that I have with a lot of you. I feel like I've become friends with a lot of you, and I just want to make sure that you all know that I really appreciate your support. Because right now, that's the only thing that's getting me through. I mean, I play music because I like to. I mean, there is this need in me to play music. But aside from that, like, this is my support group here. This is my community. Like, I don't have, I don't play music around town. I mean, I don't really have much friends as it is here in Tennessee. And the ones that I do have, there's some people at work that I talk about with music, but really this here is my community. This is my support group, and I don't want to do anything to put that in jeopardy. So, I just want y'all to know that I truly do appreciate the support. I've already addressed the trolls and the nasty comments, so I'm not going to talk about that anymore. You know who you are if you're watching. But most of you all are very supportive, and I really, really am grateful for that. So I guess I'll say, if any of you have any last anything you want to say, any last questions, comments, again, I talked a lot about some personal stuff here, but really this show was supposed to be for Chris Cornell, remembering him and his music. So if you have anything you want to say about Chris specifically, memories, concerts you've seen, stories you have any of you met him in person, talk to him, how did you handle his death? How did you grieve? Any songs specifically that speak to you? I mean, this show was supposed to be for him, remembering him. Today was his birthday. I think he would have been like 50 something, 58, 59 or something like that. Tom Anders says, "Say Hello to Heaven." That's an amazing song. That's "Say Hello to Heaven" is off the Temple of the Dog album, which I have the CD here. So this is the Temple of the Dog CD. "Say Hello to Heaven" is the first song. I got this at Media Play in Kentucky. Dog's making noise, so I'm probably going to have to sign off here pretty soon because the dog's getting restless. I'm going to have to take him out. But I just want to take a minute just to make sure I answer any last minute questions or concerns or anything. Phantom Green says, saw him sing Blind Dogs live for the first time ever. It was their first ever live performance, and he killed it. Great moment for me. I'm curious, Phantom Green, what year that was, because that's one of my favorite songs. And that's one of those rare songs. It wasn't on any album. It was, for a long time, it was like a deep cut, kind of rare. And then they finally released it on one of their, one of their compilations. And I think they played it live at their Live from the Artist Den. But I'm just curious when you saw that, because I don't think they played that song live very often. Definitely not one of their more familiar songs, but it's definitely one of their best songs, one of my favorite songs. Ian says, The Day I Tried to Live. Such a great song. That's another one I wanted to play tonight. If I had the time to practice, I was going to attempt it. Oh, the same as any other day, except the voice was in my head. It said, seize the day and pull the trigger and drop the blade and watch the rolling heads. Anyway, that's another great one. Fethdar says, oh man, part of me died when Chris Cornell died. He is/was my all-time favorite. I Am the Highway is still my favorite song ever. Miss Chris greatly. I Am the Highway is another one. So Raul says you've read the mean comments on your post, but can you read some of the positive comments on your last video? Well, I can. I'm not going to read all of them because there's a lot, and I'm very grateful for that. But the last video I did was, I probably shouldn't have done it so spontaneously, but I kind of got on here and ranted a little bit about what was going on behind the scenes. But let's see. So technically the last video I did was this update one where, whoops, I'm not gonna play it. But let's see. G0G125 says, I feel you. My days go by really quickly doing menial stuff and writing my thesis. I barely touched my guitar in the past 2 weeks. Trevor Latour says, no worries at all, bro. Focus on what you need to focus on in your life, and the music will find you when it's the right time. Leonardo Fox says, take it easy, man, and keep taking care about resting your body so that you can keep up with the amazing music you make, and talk to us whenever you feel it is a good idea. We'll be here waiting for the Chris Cornell tribute whenever you're okay. Mr. Carey09 says, don't worry about it, man. You are doing your best you can. Jeffrey Latham says, hey, man, hang in there. Nice place, by the way. Well, thank you, but Technically, it's not our place. It's my in-laws' place. But thank you. I haven't caught any of your live streams in the last several weeks and hope you get to do the Cornell tribute sometime soon. That'd be awesome. Hope you get caught up. I will tune in no matter where I am for that. And yeah, dogs are great. LOL. So there are a lot of positive comments here, which, like I said, I'm very thankful for. I guess I'll spend the rest of the night reading through some of those and trying to ignore the nasty ones. So let's see. William Jordan says, do you know who Dave Cobb is? I don't. That name does not sound familiar. So Scary23 says, when I found out Chris passed away, it was one of those moments where time just seemed to stop. It was very surreal and took me a few days to truly acknowledge it. Yeah, that's pretty much how I felt too. I remember Amanda was the one who told me, and she had seen it online. And I didn't believe it at first. Like, I couldn't believe Chris Cornell passed away. I mean, I thought she had the name wrong, or that it was maybe some like false news website. Like, I couldn't believe it. I had a hard time accepting it. I mean, I mentioned earlier in the show, when it finally did come out that he had took his own life, I mean, I can't say I was surprised. I can't say I was in shock, because that's what he pretty much sang about his whole life was, he's sang a lot about his struggles with depression and stuff. And a lot of his lyrics had talked about suicide. So I can't say I was shocked or surprised, but I definitely was in a state of disbelief when I first heard the news. I just wasn't sure if it was true or not. The Vacation Voyagers, which this is Heath. So hi Heath, thank you for tuning in. I don't know if you're filled in on the events of what unfolded earlier today, but basically I was going to do a show and I had a meltdown and canceled it. So I'm on here tonight, not playing music, but I just got on here to fill everybody in. But Heath says the Fender is getting a bath. So I let Heath borrow my Fender it's a Fender Stratocaster, which I don't ever play. I've had it for 12 years now, and it's been sitting in my room, in my closet, and I've taken it out to play maybe, I don't know, 2-3 times, but I don't ever play it. So I let Heath borrow it, and Heath says that the Fender is getting a bath, which I'm assuming that means you're cleaning it. The image I'm getting in my head is that you've got it submerged in a bathtub full of water, which I hope is not the case. But that's what I picture when I hear getting a bath. But I'm hoping that it just means you're wiping it down and cleaning it. But honestly, I mean, man, you can do whatever you want with it. You can take a bath with it and get in there with it if you want. Like I said, I don't use it. I mean, it'd be a shame. I'd like to get something out of it. If I can sell it, I'd like to. But yeah, man, like I said, do what you want with it. You can borrow it for as long as you want. I mean, I'll be at work on Monday, but you don't have to bring it back on Monday. I mean, I'm not using it at the moment, so keep it and play with it and take baths with it. Sleep with it if you want. Okay, the dog's chewing on his crate, so I definitely need to go give him some attention, probably take him outside. So I'm going to sign off. I know I need to eat too. I'm hangry. I haven't eaten lunch. I didn't eat dinner. So I'm going to go eat some leftover pizza. But thanks again, everyone, for being understanding. I feel very embarrassed and ashamed when I have these like meltdowns sometimes. And usually when I have these meltdowns, I just kind of fall off the grid. This time I took a little different approach to it. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but I decided to get on here and kind of talk through it a little bit. And I'm kind of happy that it seemed to calm me down a little bit, and I hope that it helped you all just to kind of understand what's going on over here. So again, I apologize for these little meltdowns that I have and the frustration that I express, but I'm working on it. Tom Anders says, am I too old in this crowd? Asking about Mike Ness. I don't know. That name doesn't sound familiar to me either. I'll have to look these names up so that I can be more educated next time. But I do have to get off. I have to sign off here now and go tend to the dog and go eat dinner. So I'm going to get off of here. And I don't know. I'd like to say that I'll see you again soon. But I'm just kind of playing it by ear now. I got to work tomorrow. And then I've got the weekend off. But I don't know what's going to happen with the dog. And, who knows? I might have another breakdown again, but I'll see you again sometime. If not sooner, then I'll see you later. Actually, before I sign off, I'm going to look up who Mike Ness is, because apparently I should know who that is. And I feel stupid because I don't. All right, Mike Ness. Michael, goddamn pop-ups. I can't go on anything anymore. Jesus. I swear to God, technology sometimes. Okay, Michael James Ness is an American musician who is the lead guitarist, vocalist, and songwriter for the punk rock band Social Distortion. Definitely have heard of Social Distortion. I never got into them much, so I'm not really familiar with their music or with Mike Ness. But apparently, Mike Ness is fighting tonsil cancer. That sucks. Looks like he's 61 years old. And that sucks, man. I hope he pulls through. All right. So that's it. Like I said, I got to go take the dog out, and I'm going to go eat dinner. I apologize again for no music tonight, and I apologize for if I got your hopes up scheduling a show and then canceling it. But I'm working on some personal issues here, so I appreciate you all who are hanging in with me and supporting and understanding. I appreciate the friendships that I've developed through YouTube, and I do appreciate you all. So I hope you have a good night, and I'll see you again sometime. Okay, how do I close this? Close that. Close this. Turning this down.